You've probably seen your fair share of wild clips, but this next video is gonna blow your mind.
And trust me, that's just the beginning. Today's episode is packed with cryptids and strange phenomena that'll mess with your head.
I'm Steve. This is Classified Captures. And what you're about to see, it's pretty weird.
I'm not sure if you already knew this, but there are ways to track all flights in the sky. NASA does this too for most of their flights, and recently, our attention has been drawn to something rather odd. Pay attention to the flight patterns on your screen. Does that look random? It's not right. It looks like someone is carrying out some sort of test in South Africa, and it's got the community talking. Now, let's move to Toronto. Do you see any similarities? It's basically the same back and forth pattern like the one we saw earlier. We move to this clip as well, and we see a slightly different pattern in Palmdale. There are straight flights with a lot of loops. We see the same in Washington and Dayton. If it were one, well, we might call it a coincidence, even if it were two, but right now, well, it's hard to say. Some feel the planes are spraying something in the atmosphere. Others feel they're testing something. There are a few others who feel it might simply be data collection, but people in the community are skeptical. You've seen all the clips we've compiled, so what do you think? Do you have an explanation? Have you heard of the black scatter vans, or at least seen one? No? Well then, buckle up because this might shock you. These aren't your average delivery trucks or phone company vans. They're completely unmarked and often parked in strange places for hours without any obvious reasons. Some say they're equipped with backscatter X-ray technology that lets them see through walls, scan inside cars, and even detect what's happening behind closed doors. And get this, rumor has it the tech inside these vans is based on military-grade surveillance systems that were once used overseas during wartime operations. Now, it might be rolling through your neighborhood without you even knowing. Here's where it gets even more twisted. People who believe in gang stalking claim these vans are part of the coordinated effort to harass unmonitored targeted individuals. They talk about electromagnetic weapons hidden inside, able to project voices, cause anxiety, or disrupt sleep. And if you try to confront one, well, don't bother. The drivers are always just doing maintenance or nowhere to be found at all. Some even say the vans are connected to mind control experiments or mass surveillance systems far beyond anything we've officially been told. Whether you call it black ops, deep state, or just plain weird, there's no shortage of theories about what these vans are really doing. But what's the truth? Well, honestly, no one knows for sure. There's no hard proof that black scatter vans exist in the way these stories describe them. But there's also no definitive proof that they don't, and as the saying goes, the absence of evidence isn't the evidence of absence. Until someone cracks open one of these vans and shows us what's really inside, all we can do is watch, or wonder if someone's already watching us. Speaking of strange vehicles, have you guys seen these viral clips from New Orleans? In the clips, we see a trailer transporting what looks like SUVs with the inscription "Photo Enforcement" written boldly on it. A few months ago, I would have thought nothing of it, but with the recent discussions on the black scatter vans, this feels all too suspicious. Some of the community believe these are just the public-friendly version of black scatter vans, easing us into a world where surveillance on wheels is just part of everyday life. According to them, it's not just about tickets anymore, it's about data, tracking, control. The real question isn't whether they're doing it, it's how long they've been doing it for, and why they're letting us in on it now. Of course, there's no solid proof of any of this, but what do you guys think? There's a man in Mexico known online as the King of Kites. He's gained attention for flying massive handcrafted kites to staggering altitudes, sometimes so high they disappear into the sky. In recent videos, viewers have picked up on a strange sound coming from the kite lines. It's usually a high-pitched whine or a hum that kicks in as the kites climb higher and higher. Naturally, this has sparked some wild theories. Some claim the sounds are signals, possibly a form of communication with something above the clouds. A few even believe the King of Kites is trying to reach extraterrestrials using massive kite arrays to send out resonance patterns or signals. One clip in particular went viral after viewers claimed they heard patterns in the sound that resembled coded messages or alien tones. But here's the likely truth. What you're hearing is known scientific phenomenon. The sound comes from what's called an aeolian tone caused by wind passing over taut kite lines. The lines vibrate like giant harp strings, producing airy tones due to vortex, shedding, and wind-induced resonance. I know it sounds complicated and all, but it's the same effect that makes telephone wires sing in strong wind. While it might sound otherworldly, it's just physics doing its thing. No aliens required.
Vai, tá só pouquinho de força. Se liga. Pegou o vento de cima. Ixi, o vento tá esticado. O ventão. O vento tá com a força.
Do you believe in reincarnation? Well, the uploader of the clip you're watching does. Unlike many who grew up being taught these things, she stumbled into it after she brought an item, a painting of a native person home. Once her daughter saw it, she allegedly triggered memories of a past life, and she began to tell her mom about those experiences, which can be traced back to the times of pyramids. The weird thing is, the things her daughter spoke about are not things she should know about, which spooked her. She uploaded the clip online to share the bizarre but enlightening experience and asked if there are others who have experienced the same. If you've been on this channel long enough, however, you would know we featured other stories of children doing something similar. Is this proof that they were all telling the truth, or is the whole thing a cleverly orchestrated plan by their parents for their 5 minutes of fame? I guess we'll never really know. If you've had such experiences, however, please do share in the comments section.
Like a pyramid place. It was a pyramid place.
A pyramid?
And we lived in pyramids.
Oh. And
And it was really hot. Because it's hot there. Yeah, the desert.
oh, it's in the desert? Have you ever been to the desert?
That's like that.
Not
No,
again.
I'm like that. Like this. See that picture? That's me. That's me in pyramids. Like, because I'm praying for something.
When we speak of mermaids and merfolk in general, some are quick to dismiss them and call it AI footage. Well, take a look at this clip that was allegedly recorded on the 11th of July 2022 and tell me what you think. Did you catch that? There's a man carrying what looks like an unconscious woman of one of the fishing vessels. First, when I looked and saw the clip, I assumed she was someone they'd rescued at sea, but, well, that was until the latter part of the clip when I saw she had a tail. The clip was just uploaded with no caption, but if it's to be believed, it seems like these fishermen may have caught a mermaid. Some in the community think it's all staged, whereas others believe it's the real deal. Some even shared stories of strange encounters with women who are half fish and half human. What do you make of the clip? And have you personally encountered someone who is half fish and half human? Let us know in the comments section. Still on human creatures, take a look at this clip. This was recorded by a home security camera, and although we aren't told the history behind the clip, we can tell that whatever it is in the clip isn't exactly human or normal. The homeowner may have set the camera up hoping to capture the unusual things that happen while she slept, but this? Well, this is certainly more than she bargained for. In the clip, we see what looks like a shadow reaching out to touch her as she slept. We're not sure if it woke her up, as the clip ends abruptly, but some who saw the footage think the shadow belongs to a spirit attached to the home. This led to some asking if she recently moved in there, but like I said, we didn't get a lot of info. This lack of information made some skeptical, and they even started calling the clip a poor attempt to go viral. While I get their concerns, it could also be because the lady is trying to avoid bringing attention to herself or her home. But then again, I could just be overthinking it. Anyway, you've seen the clip, so what's your take? In 2025, tornado season has already been one of the most active in recent memory. As of early July, the United States alone has recorded over 1,000 confirmed tornadoes, with dozens of fatalities and widespread damage across states like Oklahoma, Kentucky, Missouri. Globally, countries like Spain, China, and Brazil have also reported rare and deadly tornado events, raising eyebrows and, for some, deeper questions. Alongside the destruction, a familiar wave of conspiracy theories has returned, this time louder than ever. Some believe the unusually high number of tornadoes isn't just a fluke of nature, but the result of geoengineering experiments or weather manipulation programs gone wrong. Cloud seeding, HARP-like technology, or military weather weapons to control or destabilize the atmosphere. Rumors circulate about secret facilities allegedly using lasers. Even the recent increase in high-altitude aircraft trails has been linked to these powerful storms, with claims that something or someone is stirring the skies. Of course, there's no scientific proof backing these theories. Meteorologists widely agree that climate shifts, oceanic patterns, and increased moisture in the atmosphere are driving the intensity of storm systems this year. Still, the scale of destruction and the strange timing of some storms continue to fuel speculation. So what do you think? Are these just extreme natural events, or is there more going on above our heads? Drop your thoughts and let us discuss. Next, we visit this home that's over 100 years old. Not sure if they were renovating, but while exploring parts of the house they'd never explored before, a woman and a daughter came across what you see on your screen. When I first saw it, I felt it was a charm and kept screaming, "Leave it alone!" when I saw her grab it and try to open it. Even a daughter can be heard in the background asking her not to open or touch it with her bare hands. To me, that was the only voice of reason, but the mom goes ahead regardless and starts removing the packaging. After she's done that, a while later, we see what looks like a jar with something sealed in it. Again, a daughter asks her to leave it alone, but she continues. Once she's done digging through, she unwraps what looks like an ancient piece of clothing. She tells her daughter it's baby clothes from the past. She goes through it with her bare hands until she notices some blood on it, which spooks her a little. She uploaded it online, asking if anyone could understand what was happening. Some told her she had unleashed and set free something ancient and evil. Others told her to ignore and sleep. Well, if you were her friend, what advice would you give?
Leave it alone!
What would be the point of this hanging up? Oh, gosh. Oh, there's a button.
Oh. It's like breathing. Is that a diaper?
No. Oh, it's a baby thing. It's a baby outfit.
Oh no, Mama. You are haunted for life. And me, because you made me touch it.
Why is that like...
Not sure if you've heard of it already, but there's a new sport coming up, and it's called the Enhanced Games. Confused? Well, allow me to explain. Unlike the Olympics, which bans the use of performance-enhancing drugs, the Enhanced Games fully embraces them. In fact, athletes are encouraged to use science, medicine, and technology to push their bodies beyond natural limits. The idea is to create a no-holds-barred competition where the best enhanced human wins, whether through steroids, gene editing, or experimental tech. It's being backed by some big names in tech and biotech, and it's being marked as the future of sport, where innovation isn't restricted but celebrated. One of the main attractions is the prize money, which could reportedly reach up to $1 million or more per tournament. That's significantly higher than what most Olympic athletes would ever see in their entire careers. With no restrictions on enhancement, critics warn of serious health risks, ethical concerns, and the likelihood of athletes being pushed into dangerous territory just to stay competitive. There's also a growing conspiracy theory that the Enhanced Games might be a front for biotech companies to experiment and collect high-performance data under the radar. While there is no solid evidence to back that up, the secrecy and tone of the project has raised some eyebrows. It might be exciting, but it's not something most people would or should fully trust just yet. But then again, when money's involved, people are willing to do just anything. Is this something you would see yourself doing? This next one is about a guy who posts the meat in his fridge online. I know what you're thinking. Mukbang. But no. At least, I wish it were. All I have at this point is screenshots of the post because the original is being deleted. In one of the clips, he shows off the meat he has and asks people what he should eat next. If you haven't guessed it already, he went viral because people were started to conclude he was the second coming of Hannibal. Yes, Hannibal. If you're as old as I am, then you know what I mean by that. The meat isn't the only disturbing thing he's shown. He's posted displays of what looks like a basement and written things like, "Night shifts over." As if that's not already creepy, there has been instances where there have been strange screams coming from some of the setups he's shown. He's not explicitly made any claims from his videos, he's only subtly suggested it. This makes it hard for his videos to be reported. Nevertheless, I think he needs to be investigated. He's been careful so far. If he's really doing the things we think he's doing, then he's definitely bound to slip up at some point. At least I pray he does. This capture comes from the backyard of an individual who uploaded it. At first glance, it looks like it has the form of a child. But the more you zoom in, the more it becomes apparent that this is not human. The uploader believes it's a spirit, but doesn't say why or what kinds of experiences he's had with it. If you were to look at the image alone without any backstories, what would you conclude this is?
Have you ever been in a falling elevator before? No? Well, watch this.
The elevator looks like it's dropping at high speeds too. The lady can barely keep her balance as it races down. I have heard the best thing to do when an elevator is dropping rapidly is to lie flat on your back to spread out the impact force across your body. If there's not enough space, crouch with your knees bent and your back against the wall, using your arms or a bag to protect your head. Never try to jump, as it won't help and may cause more injury. Hit the emergency button or use the phone to call for help immediately. Now back to the clip. The elevator does come to a stop eventually, but the woman is shown a dark exterior with basically no light. Personally, I might not have stepped out because I may not have known where we were, and even if there was solid ground outside. She, however, takes that bold step out of the elevator, and fortunately, it looks like solid ground. The whole experience has got the community talking, though, with some stating that she was most likely in a faulty elevator. Some believe spirits might have been responsible for what happened. You've seen the clip. Which theory are you going with? We've shown you clips of flying dinosaurs and the like on this channel. Some of you have laughed at the idea, while some of you have shared what you believe are close encounters. The clip on your screen currently comes from Asia and has been going viral for a while now. Why? If it wasn't already obvious, it's because there's a creature in it that has the semblance of a dinosaur. The theories have been all over the place, and I just had to get Julius in on this to share his opinion. After watching the clip over and over a couple of times, Julius states that this is most likely a water monitor lizard. After watching the clips and videos of the water monitor lizard, I am almost tempted to believe he's right on this one. If you don't know what they look like, you might want to look them up. They're the second largest of the lizard species after the Komodo dragon. That's saying something. Anyway, what you also think? I'm sure we've all had that experience where we felt like someone was stalking and following us, right? Well, what if this time it was not just a feeling, but you knew that there were two kids following you around on your private property when you were supposed to be alone? What would you do? Personally, I might just find another property, but not the man who captured what's on your screen. Instead of putting his tail between his legs and running like some of us, he chose to set up cameras to make sure he really was seeing them and not just imagining it. The result is what you see on your screens. And to answer your questions, yes, those girls aren't real. There are no kids on his property, yet somehow these girls show up even in the trail and security cam captures. He uploaded the images online, asking the community what he should do. Some told him to leave because they might be spirits tied to the location, and others told him to get a priest. If horror movies have taught us anything, it's that these things don't end well. Unless you know a genuine man or woman of God. Who knows? Maybe he does. What would you have done? If you've been on here for a while and following classified captures, then you know that Elon Musk is a name that comes up a lot whenever we discuss aliens and lizard men. This man has another theory involving the E-Man, and I think you guys should listen.
Elon is alien. He's possibly a leader. We've known this for a few years. And the Teslas are part of the alien domination deal. I don't know why we made the deal to let them build the Teslas here. They're building the Teslas here. They're building the alien spacecraft's power sources in front of us, parking them in the back of empty Sears parking lots across the USA, Chicago, St. Louis, even on the West Coast.
Did you guys catch that? He believes Elon is part of the aliens and that he's actually building batteries for their ships, which he believes have been hidden in our waters. He states that Elon has taken an interest in water life forms for this exact purpose. He even mentions that Trump knows all this, but has basically turned a blind eye to it because he needs Elon's money. While I know, but what if he's actually right? What if these things are taking place right under our noses? And now that Elon plans to start a party himself, perhaps we should be scared. Imagine having an alien as the president of one of the most powerful nations in the world, if not the most powerful. Now, let that sink in slowly and then share your thoughts. Do you think there's a slight possibility of this being true? Or are we just listening in to too many conspiracy theories at this point?
Trump kind of knows it, but he needs the money. He needs Elon's money. Everybody does. Elon's got money coming out of his earlobes. But that makes it legit. Elon Musk and Jacques Cousteau studying alien underwater life forms because that's where the spaceships are. They're underwater.
The pyramids at the Giza plateau are one of the most fascinating tourist attractions in the world. But did you know that we see above ground might only be 10% of the full structure? Scientists have recently uncovered that the structures on the Giza plateau actually go much deeper into the ground than we ever imagined. It's been estimated that an underground network sprawls across nearly 500 acres beneath the surface. This includes not just the Great Pyramids, but also the iconic Sphinx. So what exactly lies beneath? If this research is correct, then everything we've believed about the pyramids might just be scratching the surface. What we've seen so far could be a fraction of a much larger and more mysterious complex. There's even a 3D projection model based on recent scans showing intricate tunnels and chambers that descend deep underground, some appearing to lead into connected passageways that stretch further than expected. Could there be hidden chambers, ancient technology, or even lost knowledge buried down there? Whatever's hidden beneath the sands of Giza, it seems we're only beginning to uncover the full story. And if this is just the beginning, imagine what else might still be waiting to be found. Back in 2023, this heartbreaking footage went viral. It shows an elderly woman walking her dog by the edge of a pond when something terrifying happened. Out of the water, an alligator suddenly appeared and began swimming straight toward the dog. The dog managed to dodge the attack just in time, but the woman didn't seem to move back quickly enough. Now, the version of the clip that circulated online cut off before the worst part, but in reality, the end of that footage was truly tragic. The woman's name was Gloria, and sadly, the alligator did get her. It dragged her into the water and she didn't survive. Animal control was called to the scene and the alligator was later euthanized. What's even more unsettling is that Gloria had lived in that part of the neighborhood for years. Everyone there knew about this particular alligator. They had even named it Henry. People would occasionally feed it, as wild as that sounds. This happened in Florida, where encounters with alligators are not that rare and folks are somewhat used to seeing them around. That's probably why Gloria didn't panic at first. She likely thought Henry wouldn't attack. But this time, things turned deadly. After the incident, Gloria's family filed a $50,000 lawsuit. They claimed the property management was partly responsible because they had instructed her to walk her dog by the pond. On top of that, according to local wildlife rules, any alligator over 10 foot in length should have been removed, yet this one was still out there roaming freely among the residents, and sadly, this community learned that the hard way. Do you have curtains over your glass walls? If not, well, you might want to think about getting some, especially after watching this footage. Someone had dozed off in the living room late at night. When they woke up in the middle of the night, still half asleep, they were met with something truly terrifying staring back at them from the window. There weren't just one. There were two figures visible behind the glass. One stood to the right side of the window, much taller and broader. The other was on the left, smaller in size but equally unsettling. But here's the strange part. Both of them had an unusual look to them. Their heads were shaped almost like a reptile's, similar to a crocodile or a lizard with elongated snouts. The rest of their bodies weren't visible. The lighting was low, and it was as if the creatures were just standing there watching, barely illuminated by the glow inside the room. As soon as the person started recording, the creatures moved away as if they were aware it had been seen, disappearing into the darkness. The person who filmed this was left in complete shock. They did not expect to wake up to something like that staring right through their glass in the dead of night. After this, they probably won't ever fall asleep with the blinds open again. By now, most of you have probably seen that popular photo of the mummified dog lodged inside a tree. It's famously known as Stucky. The story behind it is just as strange as the sight itself. This dog was discovered way back in the 1980s by a group of lumberjacks working in Georgia. When they cut into the chestnut oak tree, they were shocked to find a fully mummified dog wedged tightly inside the hollow trunk. The discovery left everyone scratching their heads at first, but experts soon pieced together what likely happened. The most widely believed theory is that this poor dog had been out chasing a squirrel or a raccoon and followed its prey up through an opening in the tree, and as it climbed higher into the trunk, the space got narrower and narrower until it got stuck. The tree was thick and hollow, and there was no way out once it got that far in. It's believed the dog barked and cried for help, but the dense tree muffled the sound, so no one ever heard it. Tragically, the dog died there, trapped inside, but because the space was so tight and dry it mummified, airflow through the trunk helped preserve the body and prevent decay. Incredibly, even insects couldn't get to it. The remains, now famously known as Stucky, have since been placed on display at the Southern Forest World Museum in Georgia, where people still visit to see this strange and haunting natural time capsule. If there were ever a doorway to hell, would you dare go see it for yourself? Well, maybe such a place exists. It's known as the West Kamakuna Lava Skylight in Hawaii, and it's not just a dramatic name, it's often called the doorway to hell for a reason that will chill you to your core. This natural formation is a round, gaping hole that leads directly into an active volcanic tunnel, and when you stand near the edge and peer down, all you see is a deep, glowing pit. But what makes this place unsettling isn't just the heat or the endless pit below, it's the patterns around the entrance. The surface around the skylight is covered in strange, contorted shapes. Many visitors claim that the formations eerily resemble human bodies, limbs, twisted torsos, and faces pressed together. And they're not wrong. Look at that. But are these just natural lava textures? But the way they're layered, piled up, and melted together gives the entrance a haunting, almost spiral appearance.
Say it's dried lava. Well, maybe it is, or maybe it's not.
A young woman from the UK recently went online to rant about something she noticed after seeing strawberries from the US. She pointed out how the American strawberries were white on the inside. That really threw her off because in the UK, strawberries are usually red all the way through. And honestly, just look at that. The comparison is wild. This might seem like yet another reason to call out the strange food practices in the US. Let's be honest, the US is known for pretty lenient when it comes to food regulations. A lot of things are allowed over there that would be banned or heavily controlled in other countries, but this particular case might not actually be as weird as it seems. After doing some digging, it turns out strawberries can naturally be white on the inside, especially when they're not fully ripe. So it's possible that many of the strawberries sold in the US are being harvested just a little too early. That would explain the pale interior. And as you'd expect, that also affects the taste. The strawberry that's picked before it's fully ripe won't have that rich, sweet flavor people love. But then again, if they do still taste okay, maybe there's something else going on. Could it be farming techniques? Maybe they're bred the way for shelf life or transport. Or is it something more suspicious like preservatives or even chemical treatments? Some are even speculating that this is a sign that something is being injected or added to the fruit. It's a small detail, but it sure raises some big questions. So what do you think?
Side by side of what our UK strawberries, is that what they're called? I don't know, English strawberries look like. This is America. They are definitely putting something in them. Strawberries are meant to be juicy, succulent, red. Americans, I hate to tell you, but I think they're putting something in your strawberries because that is not a strawberry. It's just not. It's not. Why is it white in the inside?
People have all sorts of strange obsessions, and hey, I'm not here to judge, but sometimes humans can be a little weird. Take this guy for example. He was filming a video showing off a taxidermied coyote mounted on his wall. He seemed to be enjoying himself, having the time of his life showing it off. But this happens. As the video rolls, we get a closer look at the coyote, and suddenly its eyes seem to lock onto the camera. How could a lifeless stuffed animal make such a chilling eye contact? But here's the thing. Once we take a step back from the shock, the answer's pretty simple. It was most likely just light reflecting off the coyote's eyes with the angle of the camera and the contrast of the footage. Nothing paranormal here. Just a spooky coincidence that caught us off guard. The fourth father of modern technology is said to be Nikola Tesla, whether you agree or not. But lately, there's a strange theory going around that Nikola Tesla was never a real person at all. Yeah, I know it's a bold claim, but here's why some people are starting to believe it. For one, there's no one living who's a descendant of Tesla. We're told his older brother died when he was still young, and that he never married or had children. It said he never even engaged in sex. That in itself seems unlikely. Then there is the lack of casual documentation. Despite being one of the most well-known figures of his time, teaching, lecturing, and getting interviewed, there are very few photographs of him. And the ones we do have all seem to be the same few professional portraits. Compare that to people like Einstein or Thomas Edison, who have tons of photographs of themselves at events, talking with others, or just being regular people. So why is there so little visual proof of Tesla's everyday life? Could it be he was a fictional genius? Or did he used to just hide behind his work? This theory is wild, and considering all he achieved, it feels pretty obvious the man was real. There's a strange pattern people are beginning to notice when it comes to car accidents, and it's not about the crashes themselves, but what shows up afterward. There always seems to be a figure that appears near the wreckage, every time. In this first image captured at night, you'll see a wrecked car, and right beside it is a white figure like a glowing silhouette standing there. And here's another one taken in broad daylight. This time it's a dark figure wearing what looks like a long black coat and a wide-brimmed hat, standing silently by the roadside after the tragic accident. So what exactly are we looking at? Some say it's a spirit tied to tragic deaths, like a sort of accidental entity that appears whenever life is lost. Others believe it's a harbinger, something that either warns of doom or arrives once it's already happened. There's even talk of this being a modern-day Grim Reaper, silently watching the aftermath. Whatever it is, this pattern keeps showing. Over in Oxford have made a bit of a breakthrough in teleportation. But it's not exactly what you might think. They haven't teleported objects or people yet, but what they did is still a tiny step towards something bigger. They managed to teleport a specific quantum operation called a controlled Z gate between two tiny units of quantum information known as qubits. They used fiber optics to link the qubits, and through that setup, they were able to carry out this gate operation remotely, basically performing a quantum trick across distance. It's not a full-on Star Trek teleportation yet, but it's a step in that direction. What do you think? Will we ever be able to teleport people, or are we just gonna stick to qubits for now? Remember Malaysia Airlines flight MH370? The plane that mysteriously vanished. Well, there's a theory that it's been making the rounds, and it's wild. Before the plane disappeared, 3 strange orbs were seen flying in the circles around it. There's even a video clip floating around online that supposedly shows this happening. Then, in the blink of an eye, the plane vanishes. At first, many thought this was paranormal or maybe even extraterrestrial, but now a man has come forward saying it's not aliens but advanced human technology. According to him, the orbs weren't anything supernatural, but the result of experimental tech linked to Lockheed Martin. He claims the orbs use magnetic fields to create some kind of visual distortion or portal effect, making the plane look like it vanished when in reality, it was all a man-made illusion. So, what do you think? Could MH370's disappearance have been caused by classified military tech, or is this just another theory? A man had gone to visit the Clarence Hotel in Dublin. He wanted to document some of the paranormal activity he'd heard rumors about. So as soon as he checked into one of the rooms, he turned on his camera and began slowly panning it around the space. Everything looked normal at first, just an ordinary hotel room. But then, as the camera moved across the mirror area, something chilling appeared. For just a brief second, you see a pale-faced woman with long black hair hanging around her face. She was standing there in the reflection, staring, and the man didn't seem to notice her at all. He casually walks up to the mirror for a few seconds, and by that time the face was completely vanished. There was nothing there, just an ordinary mirror again. Was it tied to a spirit from the room, or something much more unsettling? A farmer shared this very strange video of a horse, but not just any horse. This one had wings. It was calmly walking through a stable with some hens around, looking like a real-life Pegasus, and honestly, at first glance it looks pretty convincing, but take a closer look. The wings don't move naturally, and something about it just feels off. So as magical as it looks, this is almost certainly fake, probably made using AI or visual effects. Still, it's wild how far tech has come. Imagine stumbling across this with no context. What do you think? Some friends were out at the beach in New Jersey when they spotted something very strange. These glowing shapes suddenly emerged from the sea, and instead of sinking or staying low, they floated upward into the sky. The weirdest part is that they didn't move like drones or anything mechanical. Their movement looked fluid, like the way jellyfish move underwater, except these were floating in the sky. The person filming it sounded completely shocked, and honestly, can you blame them? Now the big question is, what were these things? Some believe they were UFOs, others think that they were bioluminescent drones or even some kind of new tech experiment, but no one's confirmed it yet. So what do you think?
This is why I'm from the water, man. What are you talking about? The hell is that? What the?
A woman lived in a shared house with several others, but recently her behavior has begun to disturb everyone. She would often wake up in the middle of the night and make a mess around the house, completely unaware of what she'd done. At first, her housemates assumed she was just sleepwalking until they decided to set up cameras to capture what was happening at night. What the footage revealed was far from what they expected. In one clip, she's seen in the kitchen with her back turned to the open fridge. She reaches in to grab something, but at that exact moment, a glass cup on the counter shatters all on its own behind her. In another recording, she's crawling up the stairs on all fours, slowly and unnaturally. Then there's a scene where she's standing in a hallway with her back to the camera, completely fixated on a toilet roll. She's licking and smelling. Behind her, a rug is being dragged slowly across the floor without anyone touching it, and a few seconds later, she abruptly throws the roll behind her. One of the most unsettling clips shows her standing in front of a closed room. She rocks back and forth, reluctant to go in. Eventually, she steps inside. Now, inside the room, she stands silently over someone who's fast asleep in bed. The camera captures a painting on the wall, falling to the floor on its own, but the person in bed doesn't stir. She just stands there, swaying slightly at the foot of the bed as if in a trance. When her housemates reviewed the footage, they were not even disturbed by the sleepwalking, but by something else they couldn't explain. The broken glass, the moving rug, and the falling painting all happened when she was nearby, but without any visible cause. Something else was moving with her at night. But what was it? A man was out for a walk, passing by this old, mysterious walled structure when he saw something that made his heart skip a beat. Just a few meters ahead of him, there was an entrance in the wall, and standing near it was a small creature around 3 to 4 feet tall. The creature was pale and bipedal, with an appearance resembling some sort of goblin or imp. It peeked its head out from the entrance, stared at the man for a brief moment, and then darted away into the shadows on the other side. The whole thing was so bizarre that it almost seemed like a scene from a fantasy movie. But looking closely at the footage, the creature's movements seemed a bit too smooth, too calculated, almost like it was computer-generated. Could this be an impressive CGI hoax? While some swear it looks too real to be fake, I can't help but feel there's a digital trick at play here. What do you think, though? A woman had sliced some oranges and left them on a plate on her table. When she returned, something strange was hovering above the fruit. At first, she thought it was a moth, then a butterfly, but on closer inspection, it looked more like a bird. However, the size was puzzling. It was much smaller than any bird she'd ever seen. This mysterious creature had feathers that seemed to blend the characteristics of both insects and birds. Its long, slender mouth was similar to a mosquito's proboscis, and it had a delicate fluttering antenna of a moth. Yet its wings moved with the speed and precision of a hummingbird. What could this be? Is it some strange hybrid species, or perhaps a rare insect that mimics birds? Share your thoughts and be kind. I'm a tad confused because, well, I didn't ask Julian. When it comes to road construction, engineers must use strong materials that can withstand the pressure from huge and heavy vehicles. So they use stones, bricks, and the rest. So imagine my surprise when I came across this footage.
In Chicago right now, and I look over at this street that's getting tore up right now. And I'm like, oh, cool. Pavers were once underneath this road. No, bro, this is wood. This street in Chicago was like wood pavers. I have never in my life seen this before. I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know this existed. But no, I mean, look at this. It's all...
A man walking through Chicago came across this road. When he looked on the ground, there was what looked like bricks, but as he got closer, he found out that they weren't bricks, but wood. The street was made of wood. How is this even possible for all those years? So I looked at the comment section and some people did confirm it. One person said Wooden Alley is a historical woodblock paved road connecting Astor Street and State Street in the near North Side neighborhood of Chicago, Illinois. The alley is 530 feet, 160 meters long, and composed of wooden blocks roughly 6 to 10 inches, 150 to 250 millimeters long, and 4 inches, 100 millimeter wide. Interesting, wouldn't you agree?
In Chicago was like wood pavers. I have never in my life seen this before. I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know this existed. But no, I mean, look at this. It's all, you can see like the wood dust underneath it. Somebody hooked me up with some knowledge about this because I am shook and fascinated.
Imagine coming home after a long day, eager to relax, only to find this bizarre-looking thing on your door.
I'm scared.
I know if I was the one who saw this, there'd be no evidence left for a video. It's been a while, but we bring back the bonus segment where you get to tell us what we are looking at and give us one fact in the comments section in exchange for your few seconds of fame on the channel. The only thing is, today we chose a rather unusual footage for our segment. I do have absolute faith in you though. I know you guys can find out what this is. Just tell me its name and one fact about it, starting with the word bonus written in caps so I can easily find it. May the best man, slime, win. Many people believe that an ancient sea monster still lurks in the depths of the Norway Ocean, hidden beneath the waves. This belief was only fueled when a peculiar image surfaced during a deep-sea research expedition showing a massive, bizarre creature with a fish-like tail unlike anything seen before. This video was taken by a group of tourists out in Norway, standing on a high cliff gazing out over the ocean. When they spotted this, a long, shiny object was slowly moving through the water, almost slithering with a calculated rhythm. It seemed unnatural. As they watched in awe, the long creature began to turn, and then, as if straight out of a legend, it split in two. Could they have witnessed two massive sea creatures interacting with each other in the depths of the ocean? Is this proof that something ancient and unknown is still roaming the waters? Aaron believes so, but what do you also think? If you've ever been in a situation where someone suddenly falls unconscious, knowing what to do is crucial. While most people would immediately think of shaking the person or calling for help, there's an ancient Chinese practice that might just help in these situations. In this video, a man is seen sitting unconscious on a trail, unresponsive, despite attempts to wake him by a concerned woman. After trying to shake him awake to no avail, she uses an acupuncture technique known as GV26, Governing Vessel 26. This involves pressing her thumb on the point located between the nose and upper lip. A few seconds later, remarkably, the man regains consciousness. GV26, often called the revival point, has been used in traditional Chinese medicine to stimulate the body's energy flow and wake a person who has fainted. While this technique shouldn't replace medical care, it's an interesting ancient method that's been around for centuries. Next time you find someone in a similar situation, try and administer that as first aid. Footage has emerged showing a huge patch of clouds floating unusually close to the ground, right above the water. It looked as though someone on a boat could reach up and touch it. This cloud not only floated at an oddly low altitude, but also had a peculiar shape. At one point, part of the cloud shot out, changing its shape dramatically. While clouds naturally move and change shape, this seemed different. Now, I don't know how this is possible because clouds are typically high up in the sky. Some observers have suggested that this might be evidence of artificial clouds created by humans, possibly for weather modification purposes. There's a growing body of speculation around cloud seeding and other geoengineering techniques that could explain such anomalies. On the other hand, conspiracy theorists have long positioned that unusual clouds could be cloaked UFOs, while advanced technology to disguise themselves. The erratic movement and shape-shifting characteristics of this cloud seem to lend some credence to these theories. Others might argue that this is simply a rare but natural atmospheric phenomenon, perhaps involving temperature inversions or unique weather patterns that we don't fully understand. What do you think is going on here? Tell me, do you see anything strange about this clip? There appears to be a triangular shape and a ring of light around the sun. The one who took the clip was confused and wondered what could be causing this strange thing he was seeing. He uploaded it to one of the paranormal platforms we're on, and once it was there, everyone had something to say. A number of individuals in the community thought this had to be evidence of a cloaked UFO in our skies. The triangular outline in the sky, as well as the ring of light, was to them more than enough proof that there was a UFO hiding that was being exposed by the sun. Now, when I saw this, I looked at the clip several times and thought it might make sense. I finally said to myself that this was evidence of UFO activity that no one could dispute. I should have known better than to say that with Julius our science was around. Like Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory, he just had to chip in his thoughts afterwards. According to him, this could be the result of converging chemtrails left behind by two aircraft. This, according to him, could create the illusion we are seeing. For those unfamiliar with the term, planes typically leave behind white trails called contrails as their hot exhaust gases mix with the cold air. These trails are mostly made of water vapor that freezes in ice crystals. They're not always visible, but when this happens near the sun, the bright light can make it more noticeable and might even create interesting visual effects like a halo or glare, making the contrails seem more prominent or dramatic. This, according to him, might be what we are seeing. But that's not dramatic enough for me. A part of me thinks there might be alien activity going on there. You've seen the clip. What do you think? If you have no idea who the Kifness is, then you are truly missing out on some of the best things this life has to offer. He creates music with literally anything, and his favorite is animal sounds. The music playing in the background is one he created using a viral cat sound on the internet. Somehow, after playing this often, the cat of this user had started singing along, which is not typical cat behavior. The person uploaded the clip stating that there definitely has to be a side to cats we don't know about. The user believes we don't understand them as much as we think we do. What say you? What you're looking at is quite strange. A man was out in Vancouver Island when he spotted this, a smaller piece of the island floating on the water. Now, islands are, by definition, land surrounded by water, but they're not supposed to be movable. So how is this smaller section of land seemingly floating and moving on the surface? This raises so many questions. Is it some kind of optical illusion, or could there be something else at play here? Maybe part of the island broke off, or there's an underlying explanation we haven't considered yet. Some people believe this is a living creature, specifically a turtle, while others think it might be a man-made invention to move drugs or weapons. Either way, you have to agree that this is bizarre. What do you think? Also, what's your theory for how this chunk of land floats so mysteriously on the water? This next clip was shared online by a Russian hiker, and it shows an intriguing encounter in the woods. While hiking, he noticed a creature walking ahead of him. The creature had brown fur, stood about 8 to 9 feet tall, and had long arms that extended slightly below the knees. As it took long strides, its arms swung in a relaxed manner, seemingly unaware of the man observing it. The hiker, keeping a safe distance, managed to capture several minutes of this encounter on his phone. The creature's movements were fluid and natural, adding to the authenticity of the sighting. The video quickly went viral, drawing attention from Bigfoot enthusiasts and skeptics alike. We all know what this creature is believed to be, a Bigfoot. Of all the footage I've seen, this seems like the one of the closest glimpses of the creature. But what do you think? Could this be genuine footage of the elusive Bigfoot, or is it just another hoax? If you've been with us for a while, then you've probably seen some of the strange finds on Google Maps and Google Earth. Although we've seen and reported on a number of these finds, this next one takes the trump card. A man uploaded this clip, and in it we see him going through the app until he settles on a location. He zooms in to reveal a strange landmark, which turns out to be some secret hidden facility. After some clicks, we're introduced to a nighttime view where we see the facility in its full glory. Not only that, but we also see a machine shooting a laser into the sky. This is highly unusual and strange. Without having answers of his own, the individual posted this in the paranormal community, hoping someone could help him. We don't fully understand what's going on, but some in the community think this might be a secret research facility. Others think the USA might be using this device to try and break the sky, which brings about the firmament theory. But without going into all that, what do you guys think is going on here? Do you think that's truly a facility out there doing this, or is this an elaborate hoax designed to mislead us? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section, as we'd really love to know. Someone shared this clip online, and it's been puzzling viewers ever since, with no clear explanation as to what it could be. In the footage, a dark, fluid-like mass can be seen floating in the sky. Unlike clouds, this object wasn't high up in the atmosphere. It hovered at a noticeable distance, close enough to make out its unusual shape and behavior. It didn't appear to be a drone, debris, or anything that fits the usual suspects like birds or aircraft. The way it moved and the consistency of its form resembles something more fluid, almost like a dark liquid mass in midair. The lack of clear answers has only deepened the mystery. Was this some kind of environmental phenomenon, or perhaps something more unexplained? Day by day, our reality is starting to resemble a sci-fi movie more and more. Believe it or not, meat can now be made using 3D printers. Here's how it works. They take stem cells from animals at their choice and transform them into bio-inks. Whether you want beef, pork, chicken, or something else, they can simply print it out for you. This 3D printed meat is said to look, smell, and taste exactly the same as traditional meat. But the big question is this safe? While scientists claim that this innovation could significantly reduce the environmental impact of breeding and harvesting animals for food, many people, myself included, have concerns. What do you think, though? Is this futuristic approach to food production worth the risk? And would you be willing to give 3D printed meat a try? Let us know in the comments section. There are stories of how ancient floods destroyed advanced civilizations, forcing humans to start anew. These theories often stem from various hieroglyphs found in historical places, from giant structures to portal-like formations. These ancient carvings depict scenes that are both fascinating and puzzling. What do these images mean? It cannot just be imagination if these drawings and paintings show similar themes from different parts of the world. Some suggest these depictions are evidence of ancient visitors from other planets, while others argue that they're symbolic representations of natural phenomena or spiritual beliefs. Archaeologists and historians have long debated the meanings behind these drawings. Some believe they represent the technological prowess of ancient civilizations, suggesting that humanity once possessed advanced knowledge and capabilities. The images of crafts and giant humans found in disparate locations around the globe hint at a shared heritage or knowledge. So what do you think? Are these hieroglyphs evidence of a forgotten advanced civilization, or are they merely myth and legend? Speaking of Bigfoot, this elusive creature has been a subject of curiosity for years. The idea of Bigfoot fighting a bull might be thrilling, but it would only be possible if the creature was real. Someone shared this intriguing image online. While he was out in the mountains, he felt like something was staring at him. When he looked back, he saw this creature hiding behind a large rock. The creature was dark, with only its head sticking out from behind the rock. It didn't look human and had an animalistic appearance, which led him to believe it was Bigfoot. The footage has sparked a heated debate. On one hand, believers see this as compelling evidence that Bigfoot exists and is out hiding in remote areas. On the other hand, skeptics argue that this could easily be a hoax. The figure might be a person in a costume or simply a play of shadows and light, creating an illusion of a creature. With today's technology, editing and creating such videos has become easier, leading many to doubt the authenticity of such sightings. So what do you think? Is this proof that the elusive Bigfoot is indeed real and hiding out there, or is it all just a hoax fueled by someone's wild imagination? Share your thoughts and theories. This trail cam image was shared by a man claiming to capture a Bigfoot. Take a look at the body proportions. It's undeniably intriguing. However, unlike the typical Bigfoot sightings we've seen, this creature doesn't have the distinct domed head, and its body size is noticeably smaller than the massive figures we usually associate with Bigfoot. Julius believes this could be AI generated, dismissing the image as digitally altered. Meanwhile, Aaron suggests it might just be a smaller Bigfoot or perhaps a juvenile version. The details are still quite mysterious. What do you think could be this real encounter with a small Bigfoot, or are we looking at a clever manipulation? This Erie train track security footage has been circulating online, leaving many people unsettled. In the dead of night, the camera captured something truly chilling: ghostly entities appearing along the tracks. 3 translucent, human-shaped figures materialized, 2 on the left side of the track and 1 on the right. What makes this footage even more disturbing is that these ghostly apparitions seem to be interacting with one another, as if engaged in some kind of silent conversation. Their movements were faint but undeniable, and they lingered at the tracks, oblivious to the camera. It raises questions. Were these restless spirits trapped in a moment of their past, tied to a tragic event on these tracks? On November the 20th, 2024, a Florida senator introduced a bill aimed at banning the use of weather modification techniques. This legislation specifically targets the use of chemicals and other technologies to manipulate weather conditions, such as altering temperatures, sunlight, or precipitation. The move has reignited debates surrounding long-standing conspiracy theories that claim scientists or even governments may be behind certain unexplained weather phenomenon. For years, theories about weather control have included allegations of cloud seeding, geoengineering, and even secretive programs like HAARP, High Frequency Active Aurora Research Program. Supporters of the bill argue it's a proactive measure to prevent the misuse of emerging weather-altering technologies and to address environmental concerns. Critics, however, see it as either unnecessary, if such practices aren't widespread, or as quiet confirmation that weather manipulation is more real than previously acknowledged. Does this bill lend credence to weather control theories, or is it a precautionary measure for future developments in technology? Could this be the beginning of transparency in weather-related sciences, or does it fuel more questions than answers? What are your thoughts? Whilst you share your thoughts, this image captures how many individuals feel the government has denied the existence of such technology for years, only to come out and ban them. Someone must be lying somewhere, and it's certainly not the masses. Animals in the wild are constantly at risk from predators, and many have developed fascinating coping mechanisms to protect themselves and their offspring. This Penduline tit is a prime example of this ingenuity. These small birds are known for their intricately woven nests which hang delicately from tree branches. Inside these nests, they lay their eggs, but the birds go to great lengths to ensure the safety of their future generations. To ward off predators like snakes, Penduline tits employ a clever strategy. Their nests have two entrances. One entrance acts as a decoy, luring wandering snakes or other predators away from their eggs. It's essentially a trap door to nowhere, meant to mislead and confuse. Meanwhile, the true entrance, known only to the Penduline tit, allows safe access to the eggs. This ingenious design helps increase the chances of survival for their offspring. Such an intelligent architecture. Scientists have been working on bringing the woolly mammoth back from extinction for some time now, and in 2024, things are progressing. They reserved a park in Siberia and are actively testing ways to merge mammoth DNA with modern technology to create embryos. By implanting these embryos into Indian elephants, they hope to revive the mammoth species, aiming for a population of 100 woolly mammoths this year. It's fascinating to think how the potential of scientific advancements in resurrecting extinct species, but it also raises some big questions. Were these massive creatures ever meant to coexist with humans? What will happen when we start to bring them back? Are we prepared for the consequences, or is this just another case of science pushing boundaries without fully understanding the implications? A homeowner had been experiencing an unsettling, eerie feeling every night after everyone had gone to sleep. Despite searching the house thoroughly and setting up cameras, nothing ever showed up. But the feeling persisted, so they decided to take a different approach. One night, the family stayed away from the house and set up cameras once again, hoping to catch whatever might be causing this disturbing sensation. When they returned to review the footage, what they found was horrifying. There, outside one of the windows, stood a hideous creature. Its skin was a deep, unnatural red, and its eyes glowed menacingly in the darkness. Even more terrifying were its razor-sharp teeth, clearly visible as it pressed its face close to the glass, silently watching the house. The creature didn't attempt to break in and didn't make a sound, but its presence alone was enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. The homeowner was left terrified by what the cameras had captured. What could this thing be? A nightmare come to life? Something paranormal? Share your thoughts. The footage.
Bro, what?
What are you?
Scientists seem to be pushing boundaries now more than ever, and this latest development is no exception. In Edinburgh, some researchers have created ice cream. Yes, ice cream made from plastic waste. They claim it's a form of recycling, using plastic materials to create something edible. But the big question is, how safe is this really? Sure, it may sound innovative in terms of sustainability, but when we start consuming plastic in any form, it raises serious health concerns. Plastic is known to contain harmful chemicals, and whilst they may argue it's safe, the long-term effects are still unknown. Could this lead to health complications or even more dangerous outcomes down the line? It's unsettling to think in the pursuit of recycling, we might be crossing into dangerous territory. Is this truly a solution to waste, or are we heading towards a future filled with unintended health risks? Personally, I've been searching for research papers on this innovation, and I'm yet to find any. Hopefully, this is a hoax and nowhere near the truth. What we're looking at here, in this footage, a hand places a strange object next to a bottle of water, and in a matter of moments, the water turns red. It's almost surreal, like some kind of chemical reaction or something far more mysterious. Now, what is this object? It doesn't look like anything you'd find in a science lab. It actually resembles some sort of ancient artifact, weathered with engravings or markings that give off an eerie vibe. Could this be a case of a radioactive reaction, or is it something more supernatural? I'm not entirely sure, but the transformation of the water from clear to deep red is enough to make anyone curious. What do you think this object could be? An ancient relic with hidden powers? Some kind of experiment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Here we have another fascinating piece of security footage. The camera, positioned at the front of someone's house, captures the front yard, fence, street, and the house across the way. In the stillness of the night, the sky suddenly lights up with a bright purple flash. Immediately after, a figure appears out of nowhere. Due to the camera's angle, only the lower torso of the person is visible, but the sequence is striking. After the light fades, the figure simply walks away. The sudden appearance of the figure following the flash raises intriguing questions. Could this be an example of teleportation? Next, we visit a topic that's not necessarily paranormal, but one that's deeply concerning: the growth of fake eggs in the American food market. Take a look at this footage. These fake eggs are allegedly from China, where it's become a practice to manufacture eggs using chemicals. These synthetic creations are designed to mimic the appearance and texture of natural eggs, but they are far from the real deal. What's worrying is that these fake eggs are now making their way into the American market and could soon spread worldwide. Experts warn that consuming them could pose serious health risks over time. What do you think about this disturbing trend? Would you be able to tell if the eggs you're eating are real or fake?
I watched this thing move across in my rearview mirror when I was driving back of my car to the front. I could see it from outside and in the mirror. I got out of my car, like staring at me, but if I looked away, I couldn't find it until it was closer. I have never felt fear like this. The hair on my arms was standing up.
You heard her, didn't you? She had just arrived home and was supposed to get into the house when she noticed something coming from within the bush. Confused, terrified, and afraid, she waited to make out what it was. In the beginning, it wasn't very clear until she came face to face with it, a ghostly shadow with no discernible form following her. She quickly got into the vehicle and called her stepdad to come around. Even while waiting, she could see the shadow being in the side view mirror. Once her stepdad arrived, however, the being seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Naturally, this upset her. Well, I mean, it would upset anyone. The big question, however, is, what was that thing? Why did it wait and hang around her till her stepdad arrived? Why did it leave when he did? These are all valid questions to ask, but the unfortunate thing is we may never get the kind of answers we so desire. Have you ever had such an experience, and how did you escape it? And did you know who or what the shadow tailing you was?
I watched this thing move across in my rearview mirror when I was driving back of my car to the front. I could see it from outside and in the mirror. I got out of my car, like staring at me, but if I looked away, I couldn't find it until it was closer. I have never felt fear like this. The hair on my arms was standing up.
Every time they make a big push with a certain flavor, it correlates with a certain event. So they had a flavor back in 2001 called Code Red. 3 months later, 9/11 happens. That's a Code Red. Maui bursts. That's a flavor. 3 months later, guess what's happened?
Fires in Maui.
Fires in Maui.
There are a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Some seem too far-fetched, while others have turned out to be strangely accurate over time. But here's one that many people never noticed until now. On a recent podcast, a guest pointed out something bizarre about Mountain Dew flavors. He claimed that whenever Mountain Dew releases a new flavor and heavily promotes it, something major happens shortly after, almost as if the flavor names are predicting future events. For example, in 2001, Mountain Dew released a flavor called Code Red. Just 3 months later, 9/11 happened, an event forever associated with the color red. Fire, destruction, emergency response. Then they had a flavor called Maui Burst, and 3 months later, wildfires devastated Maui. There are other similar examples, but is this just a coincidence, or is there something more to it? Some think it's just a strange pattern with no real meaning. After all, Mountain Dew names are often bold and dramatic, but others believe that this is no accident. What do you think?
Francis Scott Key Bridge, okay? Flavor that released last year called Star Spangled Splash. Now, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Francis Scott Key. They even had a flavor called Pitch Black, and I told people to watch for it. Then the IT thing
Everything shut down.
That shut down. One big blackout.
While you share your thoughts on that, we visit the mountains of northeast Mexico, where something rather interesting was captured on a trail cam. Take a look. This image was captured by a trail camera that had been set up by an explorer after an expedition into the mountains with his dogs. It was a day like every other, and they decided to use a trail they had never used before. All was good and fine until they started to feel they were not alone. He couldn't shake off the feeling but continued the expedition nonetheless. Their adventure would be halted by a howl that was so scary that it made his youngest dog run and the oldest assume a fighting stance. It took a while to get them under control. Once he had them under control, he left the area but returned later with a trail cam which he set up. That trail cam captured the image on your screen. That's the last thing it captured though. Someone or something opened the camera to prevent it from capturing images. Given the way the image looks and the mysterious nature of the whole thing, members of the community believe he encountered a Bigfoot. What do you think? This eerie incident occurred when a man parked outside, noticing strange noises coming from across the street. Intrigued by it, he decided to take out his phone and record the scene. That's when an inexplicable event unfolded. A woman emerged from thin air out of the shadows before walking away. The footage has sparked widespread speculation. Some believe she may have walked through a portal. Others think she might be a ghostly apparition. The lack of a clear explanation leaves room for theories about interdimensional travel, spectral appearances, or even elaborate hoaxes. What do you think she could be? This photographer was out at a beautiful location, standing near the wavy, muddy ground by a body of water with mountains nearby, capturing the serene moment. But out of nowhere, a huge bear came running toward him. Surprisingly, the man didn't run. Instead, he stood his ground and started yelling at the approaching bear. As it got closer, the bear, startled by the noise, stopped in its tracks and ran away. Bears are incredibly dangerous creatures, but in situations like this, many people use yelling or loud noises to scare them off instead of running. However, this is still risky. If the bear doesn't back off, the situation could quickly escalate. If you are ever in bear territory, make sure to know the risks and safety strategies. Stay informed and cautious. We all know the infamous monster Pennywise, the large-headed evil clown with a twisted smile and a red balloon lurking in the sewers. You wouldn't want to meet such a creature in real life, would you? Well, a girl might have come too close for comfort.
Pennywise, are you down there? Are you... The f*** is that?
One night, she was walking by one of those sewer openings in the ground, the kind with metal grates. For some reason, she decided to stop, pull out her phone, and start calling out, asking if Pennywise was down there. I mean, really, why would anyone do that? But here's where things get chilling. As she peered down into the darkness, a shadowy face with glowing eyes suddenly appeared, staring right back at her from the depths. She didn't stick around to figure out what it was. She bolted, running away as fast as she could. Now the question remains, what was that in the sewer? Was it just a trick of the light, some animal, or something more sinister?
Pennywise, are you down there? Are you... The f*** is that?
And I just start out like this right here. And they'll cross right there. And that's where your underground stream's at. Walk over here. And here the vent can go down. I can feel when they're fixing to uncross, they start kind of, I don't really know how to say that. They're fixing to uncross.
Look at that.
Back in the day, there was something known as water witching, and no, it's not about a green woman with a broomstick and a pointy hat. It was an ancient method of finding water using what's called dowsing rods. The idea is simple. When someone walks over an area holding these rods, if the rods cross, it means there's water underground. Now here's where it gets interesting. This method has never been scientifically proven, yet many claim it works remarkably well and has been used for centuries. Some believe it's supernatural, while others think it has to do with the energy frequencies or subconscious muscle movements. What do you also think? Real or just a trick of the mind?
Look at that. It's nuts.
Did they use some of this stuff for the supernatural stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of mojo-y.
I don't know how this works. I don't know why it does or why it doesn't.
This is an old cowboy way.
No, I'm not saying it's cowboy, it's an old-timer way.
You know, when I first saw this clip, I laughed. You might be wondering why, and I'll tell you. This clip was recorded by a hiker in Alaska who had been enjoying her expedition. After wearing her hat for so long, she decided to take it off and enjoy some of that Alaskan breeze. What she didn't count on was hearing strange sounds anytime she moved her hand over her head. That's actually what prompted her to record. In the beginning, it was funny till she stated it made her feel weird. When I heard her say that, my conspiracy-inclined mind went wild.
I don't like how it feels. I'm putting my hat back on.
For those who don't know, Alaska's associated with many things, one of which is aliens, spaceships, and motherships. When she stated she felt weird, a part of me felt that surely they might have stumbled on some alien technology which was affecting them as humans. While that did sound interesting, the logical part of my brain said, no, this is just static discharge. And just like that, my fun and interesting theory was gone. For those unfamiliar with the phenomenon, in extremely cold and dry conditions, like those found in Alaska during winter, the air has very low humidity, which makes it easier for static electricity to build up on the body and clothing. When she took her hat off, the friction between her hair and the hat likely created an electric charge. If she then moved her hands near her head, the static electricity could have discharged tiny sparks, creating a faint, high-pitched sound. Some people describe it as TV tuning or crackling noises. This happens because the ear is sensitive to electrical activity, and the discharge can stimulate the auditory nerve, making the person hear the static even if there's no external sound source. It's harmless, but it can be an eerie experience. Either that or the conditions were right for St. Elmo's fire. You might want to look that one up.
I asked the water, do you know who I am? Then I froze the water and I was flabbergasted because there was this VA in the ice. My name is Veda Austin.
There's a fascinating theory that suggests water is not only intelligent but also has memory, able to retain and respond to information around it. Some claim they've tested this theory and witnessed shocking results. One such story comes from a woman who had a bowl of ice in front of her. She decided to interact with the water and speak to it. According to her account, she asked the water its name, and incredibly, the ice formed her initials, V and A, exactly in her own handwriting and style. Intrigued, she wrote the number 4 in a separate bowl of water, and once frozen, the ice displayed the same number. She even wrote the word angel, and remarkably, the ice formed a faint image of a woman with wings. This experiment left many in awe and wondering if water could indeed be responding to frequencies or energy around it, potentially communicating in its own mysterious way. Could there be something more to the water we drink, a hidden intelligence waiting to be discovered? What do you make of this fascinating phenomenon?
Come on, man. Oh, I'm not blaming. Oh my God, what the is that? There's nobody in the store, dude. It's freaking me out, bro.
The man behind the camera was casually walking through the fridge aisle of a supermarket, minding his own business, when something caught his eye. One of the standing fridges, usually tightly sealed to keep everything cool, was mysteriously open. As he looked closer, he saw it gently close on its own without anyone nearby. Intrigued and maybe a bit unsettled, he rushed over to see if someone had been there moments before, but there was no one. What made the situation even stranger was the fact that he hadn't touched the fridge, nor had he taken anything from it. The fridge had seemingly opened and closed entirely on its own. No other customers were around, and the eerie silence of the empty aisle only added to the unsettling nature of the moment. The big question remains, what could have caused this? Was it simply a faulty fridge door that didn't close properly and then snapped shut, or was there something more to what was going on at that supermarket?
Come on, man. Oh, I'm not blaming. Oh my God, what the is that? There's nobody in the store, dude. It's freaking me out, bro.
This eerie footage from Indonesia, recorded in 2008, captures a truly unsettling encounter. As two men were crossing a bridge, they noticed something highly unusual in front of them. It was the lower half of a human torso wearing a black skirt. Strangely, there was no upper body visible, just the legs. What makes the scene even more chilling is the behavior of the legs. Initially, it was facing away toward the fence. However, when the light from the men's phone illuminated the figure, the legs turned to face them. This unnatural movement caused the men to panic, and they fled from the scene as fast as they could. Such an occurrence defies conventional explanation and aligns with certain ghost stories or folklore in Southeast Asia. In many Indonesian legends, apparitions of disembodied parts, particularly torsos or limbs, are associated with restless spirits or supernatural entities. Could this be a paranormal encounter? This next footage comes from a rancher who shared a strange find after a snowstorm. While he was out, checking on the debris he had been burning near his shed, he didn't notice anything unusual at the time. But later, as he reviewed the footage from his dash cam, something strange caught his eye. In the video, behind the shed, there appears to be a huge dark figure. It's a bit blurry, but if you look closely, you can make out the shape of something large, humanoid, and seemingly out of place. The rancher believes this could be a Bigfoot silently standing near the shed, possibly watching him. What do you think?
Bam, we at McDonald's. Want to show y'all. You know when you walk into McDonald's, there's a warning that says certain foods and beverages sold or served here can expose you to chemicals including acrylamide in the fried baked foods and mercury in the fish.
Let's take a moment to consider some alarming information from a video that has been circulating. How many of us actually read the warning signs at fast food joints when we're about to grab a quick bite? This man was at McDonald's when he noticed a sign on the glass wall. He took a closer look, and what he found was shocking. The sign clearly states that the food being served contains chemicals known to cause birth defects, cancer, and other health hazards. Despite this warning, these fast food chains continue to sell these items for public consumption. Mercury in the fish, harmful chemicals in the fries. It's unsettling to think about. So why is this still happening? Are we so desensitized to convenience that we ignore these blatant warnings? And why are these dangerous ingredients allowed in our food to begin with? It's a reminder to be more mindful of what we consume and the potential risks lurking in our everyday meals. What are your thoughts on this revelation? Would seeing such a warning sign change how you approach fast food?
Which are known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects and other reproductive harm. For more information, p65warning.ca.gov/restaurant. So if your ass get cancer or anything, they told your ass before. It's like a warning label for cigarettes, but for food. Yes, ma'am. Please. And these are the facts.
So did y'all know that over 95% of wisdom teeth removals are completely unnecessary? And in the last 15 years, this industry has become a multi-billion-dollar industry by just yanking out your wisdom teeth.
Have you ever wondered why so many people get their wisdom teeth removed? Well, there's an interesting theory going around that might change how you see it. In this clip, a man shares his perspective, saying that removing wisdom teeth isn't always necessary. Even if they grow sideways, he claims that over time they will settle in without causing harm. But what really stands out is his belief that wisdom teeth are connected to our consciousness. He suggests that the left wisdom tooth is linked to the heart and the endocrine system, which he associates with our third eye, a concept often tied to intuition and deeper awareness. According to him, removing wisdom teeth could be like taking away part of your consciousness or connection to that intuitive self. This is a pretty alarming thought. If there's any truth to it, it raises questions about the deeper role that these teeth might play beyond just our physical presence. What do you think? Could there be more to wisdom teeth than we realize? Or is this just an unusual theory from someone hoping to get their 5 minutes of fame? Share your thoughts.
So did y'all know that over 95% of wisdom teeth removals are completely unnecessary? And in the last 15 years, this industry has become a multi-billion-dollar industry by just yanking out your wisdom teeth.
It's a cloud with lights in it. Moving weird. I've never seen no shit like that.
Speaking of unusual things, we've got this clip from a man in Philly who noticed an unusual cloud in the sky moving in a rather unusual and more intelligent way. He then began filming to record the whole thing to make sure he wasn't imagining, and sure enough, the footage proved that he wasn't. The cloud even had sparkling lights in it, and when the community caught wind of that, they had only one explanation: a UFO cloaked in the cloud. After everything we've seen and discussed here, that's not too surprising, is it?
Never seen no like this in my life.
To show you, I confiscated my parents' tests. They glow. UV light. These look at this. Normal cotton wool bud. Oh, luciferase. Yeah.
Just in case you were wondering what's going on here, those are PCR swabs and they're used for carrying out tests like COVID-19. The individual filming, however, used UV lights on them because he didn't trust them, and it turns out he might be onto something. Not sure why, but the tips did glow under the UV light, which made him suspicious. It got him researching, and he discovered that the PCR swabs were sterilized with ethylene oxide, which is a gas routinely used to disinfect medical instruments. You might be wondering why that's a big deal, and I will tell you. Ethylene oxide, or ETO, is actually recognized as a carcinogen by agencies such as the EPA and the IARC, with long-term exposure linked to cancers like lymphoma and breast cancer. Yeah, the big C. Despite this danger, it's been stated that regulatory standards ensure that any ETO residues on the swabs remain within safe limits. Both the FDA and CDC affirm that when swabs are correctly sterilized, they pose minimal risks to users. The key word is minimal. Despite this assurance, cancer seems to have been having a field day in our time. I'm not implying anything, but what do you do with this information? That's up to you.
To show you, I confiscated my parents' tests. They glow. UV light. These look at this. Normal cotton wool bud. Oh, luciferase. Yeah.
We've got a clip from a man who was driving home one evening through a quiet stretch of road near the woods in North Carolina. The sun had set and the road was dark and eerie. As he was almost home, his dash cam picked up something strange that left him unsettled. The footage shows a bipedal creature darting into the woods. It's covered in dark fur from head to toe, standing somewhere between 6 and 7 feet tall. At first glance, it almost resembles an ape, but there is something distinctly off about it. When the footage is slowed down, the creature's movements and appearance seem unusual, almost unnatural. Its gait is surprisingly human-like, which has led to only one logical conclusion: Bigfoot. Unless, of course, you're our scientific whiz Julius who doesn't believe in such things. Your conclusion will be that it's fake. Many in the paranormal community, however, believe this is the real deal, and I'm not surprised. The clip is very convincing, but I want to hear your opinions too. What's your take on this one? Yeah, I wouldn't want to be the guy who accidentally steps in this water. While the alligator may be smaller than the croc, it's no less dangerous. Just in case you missed it, there's an alligator lying in wait with its mouth open in the water. Sometimes gators do that while hunting. It's an effective tool that seems to get their prey with high success rates. If you see this behavior on land, that is, a gator with its mouth open like that, it may be engaging in what scientists call thermoregulation, but more of that in our video. Just keep your eyes out when in gator-infested areas or water bodies. You have been warned. I've always wondered if mermaids were camera shy, but if this next clip is to be believed, they're not. This was recorded by a group of sailors out at sea. One of them noticed that there was a creature in the water that looked human, yet looked like a fish. That's where the mermaid thought clicked in. The creature then got closer and began swimming and giving them a show. You can hear the excitement in the voices of the sailors, which left many saying the clip has to be authentic. Playing the devil's advocate, however, Julius asked us what if the voiceover of men talking and laughing was simply placed on a doctored clip. When he said that, I had wanted to tell him my mind, which is slang for giving it to him. However, upon sober reflection, I realized he could be right. Either way, you guys have watched the clip, so what do you also think? A man was spending a day at the beach when he noticed something unusual moving across the water. It looked like waves, but as he watched, he realized it was a long, wiggling creature slithering across the ocean's surface. This thing is massive as it moves toward a nearby island. This thing is not gliding smoothly like a sea serpent, but rather squirming like a worm. That unusual movement has sparked curiosity and debate among those who've seen the footage. For centuries, people have reported sightings of mysterious sea creatures, from sea serpents to giant unknown animals lurking beneath the waves. While many of these stories have been debunked as hoaxes or misidentified marine life, the possibility of undiscovered deep-sea creatures is still possible. After all, we've only explored a fraction of our oceans. Who's to say what else is out there? That being said, this particular footage appears to be edited. Some inconsistencies in the way the creature interacts with the water suggest it was digitally altered. So while the idea of a colossal worm-like sea creature is exciting, it's safe to say this one isn't real. At least that's what I think. But what do you think? If you've ever wondered what two of your brain cells interacting looks like, then you are in luck. Believe it or not, these are what your brain cells look like when they're doing a mentally draining task. Unlike us, they don't talk in words. Their conversation happens through intricate signals transmitted across tiny gaps called synapses. While this is an oversimplification of the fascinating science behind their chatting, we still have to admit that it looks impressive. This exchange is what powers everything we do, from thinking and feeling to moving and remembering. Every thought or sensation is the result of billions of these tiny conversations happening in your brain every second. I don't know about you, but this makes me think of space and the way our universe looks. What if our existence is just within a much larger being, and we are all just parts of that larger being functioning to keep him functioning? You know what? Let's move on to the next clip before I hurt myself. A security camera set in an alleyway captured a peculiar scene. A man was walking through the alley when something moved on the roof of a nearby house, catching his attention. He glanced up, but saw nothing unusual and continued on his way. Upon zooming in on the roof, however, two strange creatures came into view. They appear to have wings and a long tail and could be either four or two-legged. Their appearance resembled small winged dinosaurs. Could these creatures be bats or large birds distorted by the angle and lighting, or is this something more unusual, perhaps cryptids or even an elaborate hoax? What do you think these creatures could be? Take a look at this unique dog. It has a black short coat, a slender body, upright long ears, and a long tail. This creature looks like it could be the cousin of a chupacabra, but it's not. This is what we call a Zoliotskuntali. It's a type of dog. The Zoliotskuntali, often referred to simply as the Zolo or Mexican hairless dog, is a unique and ancient breed with origins dating back over 3,000 years to pre-Columbian times in Mexico. It's one of the world's oldest and rarest breeds. This particular breed holds significant cultural importance in Mexico. In ancient times, they were revered by the Aztecs and other Mesoamerican civilizations and believed to have spiritual significance and even healing powers. They were often depicted in art and mythology and were considered sacred companions, thought to guide the souls of the dead through the underworld. But in today's world, they're raised as pets and are very loyal companions, known for their intelligence, calm demeanor, and affectionate nature. Zolos make excellent pets for those who appreciate their unique appearance. Would you get one? If you're one of those firm believers in conspiracies, this will make you do a double take. While walking through the woods, someone came across this huge structure. The exterior looked like a mountain, but inside it was an entirely different scene. Massive wooden structures were built within the so-called mountain, revealing it as a hollow structure filled with wooden bricks. I never thought I'd say these words in my life, but it's a fake mountain. What could have camouflaged this place as a mountain? What was it used for? Is this even real at all? Well, the answers to these questions are simple. We don't know. Until we have more information, we won't be able to confirm or disprove this. But what do you think? This footage sat on our shelf for a long time because I didn't know what interpretation to give it. And when I say shelf, I don't mean the literal kind, but I know you understand. We recently looked it up and discovered that many in the Japanese paranormal community think that it's a Ninjen. For those unfamiliar with the terminology, the Ninjen is a mysterious humanoid sea creature said to inhabit the icy waters of the Antarctic, with origins tied to Japanese internet folklore. Described as a massive pale white being, it supposedly resembles a giant human with a featureless face, elongated limbs, and sometimes mermaid-like characteristics, though accounts vary. Reports of the Ninjen first surfaced from alleged Japanese whaling crews who claimed to have seen these eerie creatures gliding through the ocean. While no concrete evidence exists, blurry photographs and conspiracy theories have fueled speculation that the Japanese government or scientific agencies may be hiding information. Some skeptics believe that the Ninjen is simply a misidentified whale, iceberg, or an optical illusion, and looking at the clip, I get why they think that. But do you really think there's more to this guy than meets the eye? Speaking of UFOs, these strange lights were spotted in the night sky. They're bright orbs glowing behind the clouds, moving in a mysterious and organized formation. They might seem like distant stars, but watch closely. As they move forward, the ones in the back vanish while new ones appear in the front. It's almost as if they're shifting positions with purpose, creating an eerie synchronized pattern. Now, these types of orbs have been documented all over the world for years and are often linked to UFOs and extraterrestrial activity. Skeptics argue that they could be military drones or experimental technology, while others believe they could be atmospheric plasma discharges or reflections from the ground. But no official explanation has ever been provided for these sightings. So, could these just be lights in the sky, or is there something much bigger happening above us? Most people believe that when someone dies, their spirit lingers around their loved ones before crossing over to another world. This belief was particularly strong for one family who had just lost their beloved grandpa. After his passing, the family began experiencing strange occurrences in their home. The most unsettling event was captured on camera. In the middle of the night, the deceased's granddaughter was sleeping in a room when a white figure entered. The figure stood over her for a moment before disappearing. Remarkably, the family cat also noticed the presence climbing on top of the girl as if to protect her. When the family reviewed the footage, they were convinced it was the grandfather making one last visit to say goodbye. The room felt colder than usual, and the cat's unusual behavior only added to the family's conviction. Could it be a loving farewell from the afterlife, or is there a more rational explanation for this ghostly figure? Let us know in the comments. Dolphins are such majestic creatures that coming across them in the ocean is like seeing a creature in a fairy tale. I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but well, who doesn't like dolphins? Someone shared this footage they took while on a boat exploring the ocean. You know, those vacation things people like to do. While on this boat, they saw a dolphin swimming from a distance. The fish would jump out of the water and dive right back in with such grace. It was such a surreal moment until they noticed that there was another creature swimming alongside the dolphin. This creature had a fish-like body, but with a pair of human-like hands and a head. When it jumped out of the water, it would move its hands from the sides and join them together to dive into the water. Clearly, this couldn't be a fish, but it couldn't be human as well, unless it was a being with both human and aquatic characteristics. Do you know any beings that fit that bill? Yes, the merfolk. Does this prove they're real once and for all? Well, we'll let you decide that.
Someone called the cops on these lights.
On December the 4th, 2024, a woman driving at night through Orange County encountered something extraordinary. She pulled over and began filming as strange lights hovered above the ocean in a distinct triangular formation, the point facing downward. Moments later, the lights began to descend into the water, escalating the mystery. Just then, police cars sped by with their sirens blaring, adding an eerie twist to the unfolding scene. Orange County has long been whispered about as a UFO hotspot, with some speculating about hidden underwater alien bases in the area. Could these lights be proof of something otherworldly, or is there a simpler explanation, like drones or a light show? If that's the case, where were the sirens rushing to, and why was this not covered in the news? So many questions, yet little to no answers. What's your take? Coincidence, technology, or something truly out of this world?
Someone called the cops on these lights.
That is a spaceship like a... That is a... Tell me what else that could be. That's a spaceship. They found a spaceship.
A woman driving on the highway found herself behind a truck carrying a massive disc-shaped object covered in a cloth and securely tied down. The object's shape bore a striking resemblance to a UFO. Could this be the real deal? Many are skeptical that the government or any agency would transport something as sensitive as a UFO in plain sight, especially in broad daylight. It seems counterintuitive for a subject surrounded by secrecy and controversy to be handled so openly. On the other hand, some believe this could be a calculated move, either as a deliberate misdirection or as an unclassified transport of something mundane that happens to resemble a UFO. Others propose it could simply be a prop for a movie or a piece of experimental equipment unrelated to extraterrestrials. What do you think?
That is a spaceship like a... That is a... Tell me what else that could be. That's a spaceship. They found a spaceship.
Guys, I kind of feel like I should call someone. This girl has been standing here completely like a statue, like this, for 15 minutes.
Speaking of clips that need your opinions, take a look at this one as well. The lady recording stated that the woman in the clip had been staring into thin air for 15 minutes. She initially thought it was funny, but as it went on, it became weird, and she concluded something was up. She recorded the clip and uploaded it, asking if anyone had seen anything like this. Some who commented, suspecting it was a glitch in the Matrix. They assumed the Matrix had malfunctioned and caused the lady to stand the way she did, like an NPC. Some weren't too sure about this and chastised the woman for not going for help. She felt she could have suffered an absence seizure. For those unfamiliar with the term, it's a brief, sudden lapse in awareness, often lasting less than 10 seconds, when a person may stare blankly, stop mid-activity, or exhibit small repetitive movements like blinking or lip-smacking. It's common in children, but also seen in adults. They usually are the result of abnormal electrical activity in the brain, often linked to genetics, stress, lack of sleep, or hyperventilation. While that looks like what we are seeing, she did mention this had gone on for 15 minutes, which makes it a bit unlikely based on what we've learned so far. Any medical person here to help? Either way, you've seen the clip, so what do you think?
I kind of feel like I should call someone. This girl has been standing here completely like a statue, like this, for 15 minutes. At first I thought she...
Padre cielo que estás en lo nuestro.
Moving on to more ghost clips, take a look at this one. We're not sure where this was recorded or when, but when you pay attention to the clip, you should see that there's someone or something in the back seat of the car. Whatever that thing is, it's noticed that the one filming has seen it and is filming. Also, it doesn't look pleased at all, but the video doesn't continue any further. Given that the clip was uploaded to the internet, we can assume that the driver is fine. What would you have done? Would you have stopped the car and told the driver there was a paranormal being in the vehicle and risked getting involved, or gone your way? We don't know which option the driver chose, but man, if this is genuine, it would have been one wild experience. Let's head to the UK, where intense winds are wreaking havoc. It's just one more chapter in a string of extreme weather events across the globe. Some folks are saying that Earth is fed up with humans and is trying to shake us off. Honestly, I've got a few theories of my own. But jokes aside, why are we seeing so many strange weather phenomenon back to back? Could it be climate change amping up the intensity and frequency of these events? Shifts in atmospheric patterns? Or perhaps it's just the natural cycles of weather hitting us a little harder than usual? What's your take? Is it science, bad luck, or something more ominous? Let's hear your theories. If bugs make you uncomfortable, skip ahead by 30 seconds. If you're still here, we can assume you are unfazed by them.
Okay, so I thought this was dust for like a week. And then if you look really closely, it turns out that they're little tiny bugs. And I'm freaking out because they're literally everywhere in my kitchen.
This young lady on your screen has a bug infestation problem unlike any you have ever seen in your life. Well, a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the point. She's got bugs that look like little dots, and they kinda get everywhere. Her walls, desks, and even her bottles. She initially thought it was dust until the dust began to move. She tried all she could to get rid of them, but nothing seemed to be working. She tried asking for help on our platforms, and surely enough, she received the much-needed help. It turns out they're called grain mites, and she's not the only one who have had them visiting. Has any of you had to deal with these? Which method did you find to be most effective in getting rid of them? She might just be watching the video.
They like to gather on the corners. Does anyone know what these are? Please tell me. I need help.
Speaking of strange, someone shared this clip with me, asking me what unholy creature had attacked and spooked the man. I've watched this clip several times trying to make it out, but try as I might, I didn't really see whatever the creature was. For this reason, I brought it here. Can you guys help out? I'll be reading your comments. Ever since the P. Diddy case broke, a lot of eyes have turned toward Justin Bieber because he was a child star, and during his early years in the industry, he spent quite a bit of time with Diddy. Some people now believe Justin could have been one of the victims, though he hasn't said anything directly to confirm that. But here's where things get strange. Recently, Justin posted a carousel of photographs. The first was himself in a large coat, the next was an image from his childhood, but the last one is raising eyebrows. It was a photo of shipping containers and an image of his child on a blanket. That one post alone sent the internet into a frenzy. People started digging and discovered that near one of Diddy's Florida properties is a shipping yard. So is Justin dropping cryptic clues? Was that post some kind of Easter egg? Or are people just reading too far into it? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us, and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
I've been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Share this with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.